What's up, dude?
What's up?
Why are you looking at my damn fingers split open? It feels great.
Oh, don't be weak.
I know, I have bad joints.
You do have bad joints. I hear them creaking all the time.
We're going to get a recording of it.
Shut them joints up.
Am I on?
You're on.
Nuh-uh.
How are you not on? You can't hear yourself?
Oh, there it is. Okay. I thought you had me muted still.
Oh, yeah, it's just me, solo. Fuck Josh.
I like it.
So, what's been going on this week?
Work. What else? Oh, I wrote my first bad review for a business.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Usually you're brain grouping it. Now you're
I had
a Yelp monster. What'd you
we went to South Carolina. No, North Carolina. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Went and saw the Biltmore mansion. I mentioned I think we were.
How was that, by the way? Like as a dude.
As a dude, 8 out of 10. It's really fascinating because the biggest takeaway is
just a big house.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, but it's unbelievable that someone lived like that. Because you see MTV Cribs, right? You've seen that show years ago. You're like, okay, cool. Everybody's got, look at that 9 cars. No, dude.
Yeah, they always show the garage and there are 8 bathrooms.
This guy did it right. I mean, he makes those houses look weak.
Yeah, but what's the history of the Biltmore? I don't know dick all about the Biltmore besides it's just like a fancy house.
Yeah, no. So Vanderbilt family.
Okay, sure.
Invested in steel and started a shipment company. This is the second. This is the son of the original Vanderbilt. So him and his mother came, I guess, and visited North
Vandy
Carolina.
Jr.
Yeah, and he loved the area so much. He was like, "I'm going to build my summer home here." So he decided. They started construction in 1889 or 1890, right there. Took them 5 years to build it. They actually had to build a mill and then a brick making facility on site that made 35,000 bricks a day to build the home.
Okay.
It sat on over 100,000 acres when we bought the entire property.
When was this?
This is 1890.
1890.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, basically you're just seeing how this eclectic, really smart business savvy guy opened up this 127,000 square foot home.
Okay.
And now it sits on 8,000 acres. And there's restaurants, and it's basically it's still owned by the family. Like
it's an attraction now. Yeah.
It's kind of an attraction, but they put money back into preserving. Like they end up selling 90,000 acres to the Forest Service. I guess eventually they had times they ran into a difficulty keeping the place up, so he sold that, and then they end up opening it to Asheville before World War II, apparently. And then they closed it again, and then it got passed, and they had some financial trouble, and then the family came back, 2 brothers. Picked it back up and turned it into what it is today.
Yeah, did they live in it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
It was a summer home.
Oh no, they lived in it. Like
so when did it become like a park essentially?
I have to look up the thing, man. Yeah, after it got passed around after the 40s, then jumped back through, and then finally the family was like, "We got to figure this out."
It's like Yellowstone,
but at its prime, like, because I'm not a big artsy guy, but I can appreciate cool shit.
Sure.
But seeing a house built that way, all by hand. I mean, dude had 70-foot ceilings in his formal dining room.
Yeah.
And then he had a pool, a 70,000-gallon indoor pool, and a 2-lane bowling alley.
Right.
It was unbelievable. And he had a lot of modern stuff, like indoor plumbing, electricity, and apparently he took really good care of his staff because there was families that just kept working for him. It's wild. Well, I recommend going. If you're going to do it, though, I don't want to sound like I'm on a travel channel, but do the guided tour. Don't do the audio one because you have to basically hold up like a cell phone to each exhibit and listen to it.
Right.
After the 9th one, I was like, I don't care anymore because I don't want to hold that phone on mine. So you'll pay more, but do the guided one. It's worth seeing.
Sure.
Your kids will hate it.
That's my thing. I'm
12, probably. You have to be at least 16 or older to appreciate it.
I mean, I guess I can get, if you're a history buff, okay, cool.
Well, we're big into period pieces,
sure.
Kylie and I are. So
you feel like you're standing in the set of Bridgerton or whatever.
Kind of. I mean, you really kind of are. You're seeing it, but in real life,
I get that point. It's
wild.
The same reason why people go to Jamestown and or Gettysburg and all that and see old Civil War type stuff.
That would have been cool if they had people dressed up in the rooms, depicting it.
I get the historical advantage, whatever of it. But my thing is at the end of the day, it's just a dude's house.
It's a dude's house. But
and we're fascinated. I feel like it's tied in with our fascination, Americans' fascination with the royals. It's like our version of Buckingham Palace.
A little bit. Because this is the biggest house in the country as far as
That's what I'm saying.
I was more appreciated with the property. The property is unbelievable.
It's
in the mountains, dude. Yeah, he's got his own bass pond.
Yeah.
He had this giant greenhouse built. Dude, it's crazy that someone had that much time. And then what's weird is when you walk in one room, he had a picture of the guy who did the landscaping, designed all that. And then these are full, like, 12-foot portraits and his builder. I'm like, look at Kyle, I was like, could you imagine having your builder in your home painted on the wall?
Do you remember, you've watched Downton Abbey, right?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember
twice.
You remember there was an episode to where they, like, they were like, I guess it was a period, because this was like in the 40s or 50s or whatever. It was post-World War II, wasn't it? Maybe no, it was early. It was
prior.
in the 20s and 30s.
It was
right after World War I.
Mm-hmm.
So it was between that period is when that show was going on. And I remember there was an episode where they, their relevance as the aristocrats,
that's
or
correct,
whatever, was kind of like losing relevance. Like they're
running out of money.
They were losing it, and they were running out of money, and the people of England were kind of like tired of the aristocracy, and they were kind of like, what's the point of them? And all this
their way of life was fading.
Right, their way of life was fading away. And one of the things is like, well, the idea was like, oh, let's open it up. And so they basically was like, let's let all the poors into our house.
Yeah, and the dude didn't want to do that.
And he didn't want to do it,
no.
right? And then it was like a big success and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, that's
exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened. They mentioned it too, that he didn't realize. I mean, because you're talking, it's massive property. Like,
right.
To sustain that, if you're not producing anything, eventually the money's going to dry out.
Right.
So that's what happened, and they tried to open it to the public. In Asheville, the city recommended, I guess, to the family, and now it makes online estimate like $50 or $60 million a year from tour. But it all goes back into the home, and then which now is basically like a museum.
Yeah, I guess I turn it into.
But
like
they said the value of the home.
Park.
And everything, property and all, is like $351 million.
I wonder if they probably get some state taxes if it's like a park now or a reserve.
So the land itself probably gets some sort of preservation to where it can't be built something. But it's beautiful. It's worth going to see. But back to what I was telling you about the hotel we said, that's where I wrote the bad review for. The hotel was...
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Fucking awful, like earthy staff.
It's just an odd thing that we have like this, family, well-known family, Vanderbilt, and we go and like visit their, and it just reminded me of that episode. I think like let the poors in. I think people. It's interesting.
I think why we gravitate to it so much is because it's traditional. It's very there's no TV, there's no cell phones, there was nothing.
Oh yeah, I get all that. Yeah.
It's neat to see that they just hosted for other families and friends. And
I 100% agree.
Yeah, it's wild.
The stuff that they built back then, they built it with an eye for aesthetics, for beauty, and for to last, and to
bring
honor
people
tradition
together
and all this kind of stuff. And I follow this Twitter account that I can't remember. It's called like Western Traditionalist or something like that. I have to look it up. Let me look it up real quick because it's fascinating. But basically, they post the like side by side pictures a lot of times of traditional like art and architecture, and sculptures and paintings and buildings, whatever. That have like endured for hundreds of years, right? Multiple hundreds of years, several hundred years, and they made it. And these people that were expert craftsmen, they made this, and they painstakingly took like sometimes half their lifetime to create this thing. Yeah, and it's endured. And then now we just like throw up like shit within like in few months, and it just looks awful. Like you know what I mean? Like the architecture and stuff around here is just so kind of not interesting. Well, and it's not. No one's going to remember these buildings whenever they get torn down. Then no one's going to, being like, "Oh, look at this great." It's just kind of a fucking building. You know what I mean? We just don't make them like that anymore.
Well, in truth, too,
and art's the same way. Like that Martin Luther King art sculpture. You see that thing?
Oh, that was really
fucking looks like somebody wrestling with a giant dog.
Yeah, I saw that. I was
like, why the fuck would you make that?
So, in kind of that same subject. They built this house in that time period. It was $5 million.
Right.
Today's dollar would be about $150 million.
Right.
Now, granted, who has that much money to actually put into a home? Basically nobody. And then of course, this guy's not working at 8 to 5. No. So I kind of get why no one quite does it that way anymore, except for the guy on exit 19 that has the castle. Well, which, by the way, looks crazy.
Which I haven't been to that. I haven't been to the Rim Fair in like 5 years. I feel like I need to.
Yeah, that's what Kylie mentioned. We should go if they do an event there.
Western Traditionalist is the name of the.
Okay. But not to linger too long on the Asheville Biltmore thing, whatever. But definitely go if you get a chance. It's worth a 2-night stay.
But Asheville, the hotel sucks.
The hotel's great. The staff, the guy that greeted me, because I was already pissed off with their valet service, the guy that greeted me was
you told me about that.
dick. So I just let him have it, which it probably won't do any good. I got a message back from their manager, whatever.
What was the thing with the valet again?
So we get there and like it's downtown. I've never been in downtown Asheville, but the hotel is right smack dab in the middle of everything because we wanted to be able to walk to everything. They have great restaurants, good food. Well, the valet, typically people are running, take your ticket, key, and then they take the car. Well, these guys were just stacking parked cars.
Right.
There was nowhere to have the car valeted. So I did 4 laps. Finally, I just went to a parking garage. And I walk in, and I'm like, how does y'all's valet work? It doesn't seem to be working. Like, yeah, you just wait. I said, I just wait in the intersection? I mean, this is like, it's like Broadway. It's busy.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, they're just backed up. I'm like, backed up and then not moving cars are 2 different things. So finally I was just like, okay, thanks. He just hands me my keys to the room. Doesn't tell me where the elevator is. Doesn't tell me what time breakfast is served. Doesn't tell me any attractions in the nothing.
Here's your key. Fuck off.
Here's your key. Fuck off. Figure it out. So I was like,
service is dead.
And of course he had like, pubic hair patched beard and smelled of patchouli. So I was like, great. Patchouli. And then, so yeah, for real. So I'm like, okay. And I told the guy on that email when he asked me how I thought about it, I was like, that dude was terrible. I said, customer service is already a dying art. Y'all don't need to add, fuel to the fire of that.
Yeah.
I said, your one dude made me feel extremely unwelcome. Like, I've had better service at a Motel 6. So the only shining light of your hotel was your cleaning staff was super friendly.
Yeah.
But dude, it's like almost $300 a night. Like, this is not so I never again, I told myself I'll never stay at your hotel again. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, but hey, that one bad egg will ruin it. Sorry.
Yeah, it will.
I mean, it will. So then I found out the community of Asheville, if you've never been, is super earthy. Everyone looks like they're ready to hike at any given minute, but they don't hike. No one wears makeup. Everyone's really grungy and gross. I don't understand.
They dress up in like hiking gear just to go to a craft brewery.
Correct. So I walk in, and then there's a lot of lesbians. I don't know if that's a thing. They're all really friendly. I'm not bashing like they were rude to me. They were actually nicer than the guy at the hotel, but it's just...
Was it like
It's very East Nashville. It almost feels like an East Nashville vibe. But my thing is, like, I don't care if you want to do that or look at it however you want, but can you look clean? Like, they just look dirty.
Right.
Like, I don't...
Like, I like to hike as much as the next guy, but...
Yeah. Now, the glass blowing place was dope. That was really cool. And there's a city bakery we went to across the street. It was really good. So it was cool. It's worth going for a couple days.
Did you say guy blowing place? What'd you say?
Glass blowing. I'm sure they do blow each other out back. I don't know. But glass blowing. They've been with a lot more dudes than me. So.
Was that your solo excursion? Like, left the wife in the hotel room?
Well, I got mad at that guy. I asked the guy at the front desk, I was like, where can I be served? If you know what I mean. So, it's a cool place. It's worth going to see. Don't bring the kids. Harper would have hated it.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately get on the property, she'd be like, this sucks. This place is lame.
Yeah.
Now, she would like the koi pond.
Well, I always, every time I hear people like, oh, I want to go see the Biltmore, it's a chick thing. Like, I just imagine, like, women are the ones that are dragging their husbands.
The coffee was good. I will tell you that. The coffee was pretty rock solid.
You would find the coffee.
The coffee was solid.
The best coffee
The Biltmore blend. They had a special blend just made for the Biltmore. I did try it, and then I tried some other hipster coffee.
You know what you should do? We should, I'll film it.
Like the Barstool guy?
Yes. I'll film it one sip. We'll call it one sip.
And everybody had honey. I was really shocked. Except for the one city bakery had like liquidized, like super liquid honey.
Right.
Because I wanted to put it in my coffee. It came out like a spatula, like flooded in.
Dude, I'm not kidding. Let's actually do this. Like when we go out to places.
Someone's going to steal our idea.
Whatever. Fuck it. We only have like 50 listeners, so it's fine.
60.
60. Hey. So anyway. Let's do that. Like, we need to maybe make it conservative.
Sniff out the coffee.
And whenever we go to like somewhere, we'll go venture out or whatever. And we go to a place, we try their coffee, film it, and do one sip, and then give it a review.
I've actually had Gage took me to some place Thursday, another like a little hipster coffee shop. I can't remember the name. I'll have to ask him. And I tried their coffee too. So I've tried like 4 different coffee places in the last 2 weeks. All of it's been good. I didn't have any negative coffee. So Biltmore's got their own coffee, and they had a killer chicken salad sandwich.
And you don't do any fancy bullshit coffee, so it would be just like straight coffee.
Now I'll add stuff to it, a little cream and honey, and then
which is how you like it, right? Yeah. I do like just cream. I don't usually do a whole lot of honey, so we could do that.
Yeah, because I had to go in there. They were like, "So, what do you want to drink?" I'm like, "I'm looking." They have like all this crazy blends, and I'm like,
"Right?
Can I just have a hot 12-ounce
Right.
I don't know what any of this means.
Right.
But I like that they had all their stuff outside. The creamers and everything was out. I didn't have to. I just had room for cream, and that was great.
Because you do have a palate for coffee, I guess, if you will.
I actually have a French press now too.
Right.
And I haven't made it yet. I have every way to make coffee at my home.
So you could be the Dave Portnoy of coffee.
Is that the guy from Barstool?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's all right.
Real Presidente.
Yeah, so definitely go check it out. It's cool. It's not as girly as you think.
I'm setting up One Sip.
That's fine. Yeah, no, I like that idea. I wouldn't use it.
So I think if I say that it's trademark, I don't know how this works. One Sip is mine, original. It's trademarked. It's
cited here.
If someone else has already
12/53, 29th of January.
Someone else has done it ahead of me, then just let me know.
I will say the Biltmore is not a place for a bro trip. Don't do that.
Well, see, when I went to Asheville, I think I've said this before, it was for that Spartan race, and so we kind of did a day in there.
It's a cool little area. It's not a bad spot.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just it's not my like. There's no attraction besides drinking.
The hiking and stuff is supposed to be good.
That's a different story. Yeah,
I didn't get to do any of the outdoor stuff, but apparently they got zip lining, kayaking, fly fishing. Yeah. All that's supposed to be pretty badass. We didn't have time to do all that, so I would go back.
Yeah.
And the only way I would do the Biltmore again, if I would do the guided tour, and I'd go in the springtime or summer when everything's in bloom, because he's got millions of shit planted that everything was dead.
Yeah.
It looked like the dark zone from Lion King. Right. The graveyard,
the dark place. Never go there.
Never go there. So yeah, it was neat. It was all right.
Okay,
that's kind of what's happened since our last recording. That's what was the big show.
Yeah, the Asheville.
Yeah,
yeah. Go once. I don't care to go.
Go once, yeah.
I didn't go to the Biltmore, but if I happen to be in the area, and I don't know,
we would have fun if you came with us. You brought some. We did like a little group and went because you and I could just talk shit
because I would just rip everything
about everything.
Yeah, right.
That would be fun,
pretty much. Because right. Nobody can have nice things and be happy while we're around.
They did have a billiard room that was sweet. They had a secret door into a smoker's room. They had like a bachelor wing. They had a gun room, a billiard room. They were like each one of the pool tables weighs over a ton. I was like, a ton? I was like, I'm not helping him fucking move.
How'd you get it in there?
Yeah, apparently it's all...
built the house around
some
it.
handmade quality shit in that place. So...
fuck. Well, I didn't do anything exciting at all.
We did find you multiple wives in Nashville.
No, well, yeah, but I have to move out there. I'm not doing that.
No. I was going to just pass your number to them. Like, hey, this is my friend.
Right. If you're passing through Clarksville.
Well, or if you want to move and change your life for the better.
Right.
Quit your job here and come to Clarksville.
There you go. Let's do that. Yeah. See, and I hate getting set up.
You can trust me.
I can trust you. Most people that have set me up in the past, it's been women. And I'm sorry, women are fucking terrible at setting up guys.
Yep.
They're terrible.
Well, I mean,
I don't know what they're thinking.
Because they don't put looks into it.
They don't think like me.
They try to match your personality instead of one of the number one important things is like you got to be attractive too.
Right. Well, personality too, because here's the thing is because I've heard it a bajillion times is I'll be like, oh, what about what's your friend or whatever, and they're like, oh, no, not her, she's a bitch. I'm like, you're friends. What the fuck?
Oh, you know why?
And maybe I like bitches.
You know why? Because women don't like each other.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Women do not like each other, and I don't care what any of them say. The reason they don't get along, they might get along in front of you. But they're going to talk shit. Women like that's why women, the ones at least I know, gravitate more towards have guy friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same.
I'm talking about platonic, not sexually. Guy friends because they get along better with guys.
Yeah,
but dudes get along with good dudes. That's not a problem at all. But like for some reason they cannot get along. Eventually, they don't like each other. They're constantly competing. Whether they know it or not, they're constantly competing. Whether it be for attention or anything, they're competing.
Attention, that's it.
So
even if they're married,
they don't like each other, man.
Like attention from other people. Yeah, that's probably true. I would say that's probably true. And I think that's the reason whenever I got set up by somebody. Oh my God!
I feel like Michael in the office.
This was years ago, but I got set up on a blind date. I mean, not really blind date. I'm sure she wasn't blind. She could see. Yeah, we saw each other's picture ahead of time. I'm sure because everybody had social media back then. So I kind of sound like I'm fucking ancient. I am kind of ancient.
That was yesterday.
Right.
I am kind of ancient.
It was on MySpace. Anyway,
send her a letter.
So we did this. She set me up with this girl, and I went to Nashville. I set up the whole thing. I got some suggestions. I think we went to the pharmacy. I think
it was good. It's in the ghetto, but it's a really good burger.
I think it was the pharmacy. Yeah, it was
kind of offset in the ghetto. It looks rough.
Is it?
Well, yeah, like the restaurant's nice, but the outside is like rough.
This is like right across the street from Demas's.
In Hendersonville?
No, not in Hendersonville. It was in Nashville.
I just saw the Demas because I talked.
I think it was the pharmacy. I don't know. It's a grocery store. Plus, they've got a restaurant.
Oh, that's not the pharmacy. You're talking about.
I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
No, is it Puckett's?
Maybe.
Puckett's has a grocery store.
Yeah,
it's been there forever, and it's not across.
Puckett's.
Okay, it's downtown Nashville, kind of sort of.
Yeah, that's it.
So, all right, maybe
it was Puckett's, and they got like a little live venue down there.
That's Puckett's.
Okay, Puckett's.
Yeah, man.
And it's a grocery store.
Home run.
Like a Whole Foods type.
Shout out Puckett's. Try it out. It's good.
And I think it was Puckett's. Maybe I don't know why I was thinking pharmacy, but anyway, went there and met up right outside the place, and went in, got a table. The dude went and sat us right next to the stage, a little 2-seater, which I'm not huge on music, so I don't need it right in my fucking face, but whatever.
Right.
So we sat there, and I was focused on her because that's the whole point of this whole thing is going on a blind date, did our pleasantries, meeting or whatever. Hi, blah blah blah. I'm Zach. I can't even fucking remember her name.
I hope you swayed your arms like that when you met her. That's why she left.
Yeah. I wanted to fucking leave.
I'm a robot.
So anyway, I sit down, and first thing she comments about is that we're sitting front stage, right in the front with the live music. Like it's
a problem?
Well, no, it's like I planned it.
Oh, it was real
She thought I planned it.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that's just where the guy sat us.
Brownie points.
I didn't you're right. I guess I should have claimed it, but she kept she didn't believe me that I didn't set this up. So she kept repeating it, right? That I trying to let me know that she was impressed that I had planned this out to set her front stage, even though I didn't do it at all.
Now you're becoming annoyed with it?
Now it's becoming awkward, and it's weird, and you need to stop. It's just whatever. So that was red flag, I guess, number one. And I was like, I guess kind of let it go. This is weird. Whatever. So another reason why I don't like to have live music, especially sitting right in front of it, is I'm trying to have a conversation here. That's the whole point of this thing, right? I'm not here to listen to the fucknuts on stage, whoever the hell they are.
The fucknuts of Nashville.
Goofy band.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to pay attention to the date to see if, this is worth pursuing. So, you ask your standard questions. What do you do for a living? Who is it? To ask your family, where you're from, what do you like to do? What are your hobbies? Blah, blah, blah. It's like an inquisition, right? That's what
just
pretty much all
the
dates.
Script.
Yeah, following the script. I can tell you what all her answers are. Nothing. She does have family, so at least that.
So she had one time in her family.
She, works some job she doesn't like. I was like, so, okay, cool, whatever. We all have shitty jobs. I got a shitty job. What do you like to do when you get off? Oh, nothing. You watch TV? Yeah. What kind of shows you like? Just, whatever's on. Bro, I'm not kidding.
I almost just fell asleep.
Right. I'm not exaggerating. She had zero interests, zero likes. And she does zero things outside of work. Zero person. I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Are you even human? What is happening here? Are you an experiment? What's happening? I don't know. Were you just creating in a vat? It is like if the aliens wanted to simulate human life. This is what it would be.
Yeah,
is you you don't do
so
anything.
At that point, you're just well, never mind.
Right, it was wild, and I was just kind of. I hate having to as the guy. I feel like it's our responsibility. We kind of put it on ourselves, but we have to be kind of the driving force, right? Honestly, that's how it is. We have to be the engagers. We have to be the instigators.
You don't really. It's not like
but
an
you need some feedback.
Yeah, you got to have.
It's a conversation. It's a two-way street, right? I can initiate, but then it's just to get
playing
the flow
tennis
going.
Here.
Right?
Need you to serve
exactly,
it back.
Right?
Volley this
up.
Up.
To have a good volley here. And she was just hitting nothing back, and I was just struggling there. I was getting to the bottom of the barrel on questions.
You're like, I fucking hate this.
Right? It was terrible. And you don't want to have awkward silences where you have dead air. That's just the worst thing on a date. So I'm struggling to keep conversation going, but she's giving nothing back. It was driving me nuts. And in the back of my mind, I was like, this is why I don't fucking date, because it's terrible. So I have nothing but bad experiences with dates. Nothing but bad experiences. I don't think I've ever been on a date outside of already in a relationship or, an established friendship or whatever, and it morphs into something else to where it's been on a good date. But straight out first dates where I don't know you, blind date, if you will.
I've had some great ones.
Or maybe I've never had a good experience.
You ever had a good one?
Never had a good experience.
Oh, dude, I've had some great dates. I mean, since I was like 17, I've had great dates. I've had a bad like semi-blind date online that was horrible.
Well, see, I guess that's what I mean. Is like if it's like blind date-ish or acquaintance type thing, I've never.
And
really
it's just
had any
because she lied about the way she looked. Like she was fucking horrible when I showed up. So,
but we left this. I left that date. I think it started raining. I walked her to her car, did the whole hug, see you later.
Hug.
It was a normal hug.
Oh, okay.
And then I fucking peaced out.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking on the ride home, I was like, what my friend, what the fuck was she thinking?
Probably a practical joke.
Maybe. Well, no, I think it was that I was single, she was single, and she was like, it was her friend. She was like, it'd probably be good for both of them to get, because they're both single. That literally was the only criteria.
Yeah.
Is that we were both single. Right. I just couldn't believe it.
It's funny you brought that.
I don't know why. Like, why? At some point, I was
like, I'm into jousting.
Just make some shit up, girl.
I used to scuba dive and lava.
Right. Did you not do any, what did she think was going to happen when she showed up to this date and I'm peppering her with questions? And I'm not peppering her with questions. I'm just trying to keep conversation going.
That's basic shit.
And she's like, one word answers and it's all, I don't do anything. I'm just like.
It would have been better if she was like, I don't want to actually talk to you. I just want to watch this music and I want you to take me home.
I would have accepted anything. You know me. We'd talk about anything. Actually, that reminds me. I had this idea for the podcast.
Okay.
And we're about to do. Last week we gave ourselves homework.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that at some point. But I had another idea. Probably while I was shooting.
Is it starting a dating service?
Ideas. No. But you know how we've joked about we can talk about literally anything like kids' birthday napkins. I could have a whole conversation about birthday napkins, right? Let's actually do that.
Okay.
So let's actually do a live. We're not live recording, but
I can do a live Instagram
live now. Well, we'll put in. Maybe we can even take suggestions from fans, from listeners of topics. Throw them in like a hopper, and I can do this on my phone or tablet.
Oh, like jumble them up,
and then do like a little spin thing or whatever, spin the wheel, and then fucking boom, whatever it lands on, we just like have a conversation about it.
All right, we can do that.
It could be any noun, person, place, or thing, concept, whatever. I don't give a fuck. Doesn't matter what it is. Literally anything.
Okay.
Put it into the wheel and spin it.
It's funny you brought up dating, the blind date thing, because I was actually.
You think it's a good idea?
Oh yeah, I think it's a great idea. We've talked about it before. I think it's cool.
Okay,
I'm down.
So we'll think of. I'll think of some ways in order to get some good items to throw in there, random ass shit of all different types, and see if we don't get a lot of comments on our stuff, but maybe if we people listen to this.
People private message me.
Maybe next week or next couple of weeks we'll try that out, because I was like, we joked that's what we could literally talk about anything. Yeah. Let's just fucking try it.
Yeah, people private message me and stuff. So if even if they don't put it on the page, they'll message me.
Yeah,
ideas.
that's
fine.
So we'll do that.
It's funny you brought up dating, because I was on the couch the other day. I was talking to Kylie, and I mentioned I forget what show I was watching. Something was on. I think these two kids were two people started making out or some shit on the show or watching whatever. And I was just like, man, that was the best. She's like, what do you mean? I said, Kylie,
making out.
I said, being a young, I can only talk about from a young man's perspective, but when you first start getting into girls and stuff, and 15, 16, 17, whatever. And I was like, oh yeah. So man, you're just like a terrified, horned up wreck.
Yeah, yeah.
I said, literally, I said, I have I'm not going to tell them on here, but I have so many stories of me just fumbling or doing the wrong thing or worrying way too much about it. I told her, I said, Jim from American Pie, that's me. I said, that is me. I said,
it wasn't just trying to fuck.
Oh, no. I'm talking about just navigating that entire sphere. I'm talking about
right. I'm
talking about when to hold hands, when to make the first move,
right.
How to go under the bra,
right.
All of that stuff.
Yes. Because you were experiencing all your firsts,
dude. Just being figuring out how things work and what to do, not to do. Dude, I told her, I said, it is the best and funniest shit on the planet. Yeah. I said, it's
because you're
hysterical.
Hormones are fucking raging.
Oh my gosh. You're just all jacked up.
We joke a horny male teenager is just all he's thinking about is sex, but not really. For me, I feel like this is most every guy is, especially if you haven't, actually had sex yet, or maybe you have, but it's still early on.
Yeah.
And you're, like you said, experiencing all
still
your
a Padawan.
you just wanted to like try all the things.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to, it's not necessarily if I was around women, that I just wanted to, have sex with them. I wanted to be around them.
Oh yeah, all the
you know
time.
what I mean?
I just wanted to make out with all the girls I could.
Want to make out with them,
That's
the way
it.
they smelled,
because,
the way they felt,
all of it. Because like I told
their voice, even their voice.
Yeah, Kylie was like, "What do you make out of it?" I said, "Because I couldn't get them pregnant."
Yeah,
it was safe.
Right, exactly.
And like you said, like that's when like I remember when like the Victoria's Secret stuff came out, like when you were in school and like all of us doing like the love spell and the pure seduction. Like then you like smelled in the hallways and you're just like,
oh yeah, it was great.
And you're just like looking for who is it?
She brushed past you. Oh,
because that's like because now
she touched my leg.
Because then it's like your friends will be like, dude, you smell good. She smells incredible. And you'd be like, let me go see. You like find a way to like walk by the locker.
Yeah.
It's just
I don't know when it happens. I don't know when it happened for me. I don't know if you can illuminate here on when it happened for you. But
I'm sure I
can. At some point along the way, like those hormones, the levels die back down, and then you're just like back to your normal.
It's called marriage.
Maybe that's what it is. But
No,
at some point, you're just like horned up all the goddamn time, and then all of a sudden it just.
Yeah, so
and you're just kind of like you're still horny.
It's self control. It's and then you like.
But you're just at a normal level. You're just like
because like once you do get it, like once you get it, like basically like, you become an animal. Like that's all you want to do. That's all you think about. It's all you do. And then there's like a lull. Right. Like then you're like, okay, cool. And then when it becomes like a casual thing, where it's kind of like breakfast or lunch or dinner, you're just like, all right, cool. And then it's still there, but it's not hungry. But
there's no like
it was. You don't have M's and flows. It's
you don't have like a vampire like thirst.
No,
you know what I mean?
But there a while. At first, there was. It's
talking about when you get it. And that's all you want.
Extremely overwhelming.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You're like a dog where you eat the same can of Alpo every day, and you're happy as shit every time.
People are going to hear this, and I don't care. It was actually a part of my schedule. I made sure that it would fit in.
Right.
Like I had to make sure there was time. Like, okay, I got to go to school. I got to work part time, and like I have to make sure that I've got these couple extra time for this.
8 to 8:15 sex.
I'll never forget too. I'll never forget like
15-minute window.
I'll never forget because we're on the topic of adolescent sex.
Consensual.
When you hear about consensual. But when prom showed up, like when I was in high school, I remember like I had a friend of mine. I think I was a sophomore, and they were going to prom, and I was like, "Oh, dude, that sounds great! Like I've seen all the movies about prom stuff." He's like, "Yeah, man, it's really cool." I'm like, "Yeah, it's great." And he was like, "You're also guaranteed to get laid." And I was like, "Whoa, what do you mean guaranteed? Like you sign something? Like what do you mean? Like comes with the invitation? Like how does that work?" And he was like, "Yeah, man, like it's just part of it." And I'm like, why doesn't anybody tell that? Is this tradition? Like, I don't understand. Like, is there, like, when they say I'll go to prom with you, it's also like, you can be in me. Like, I didn't know. And he was just like, no, like, that's part of it.
Choose wisely.
He was like, it's just part of it, man. Like, it's just, you just do that. I'm like, of course, as a sophomore, you're like, oh my God, it's great. I'm going to prom. Like, dude, do you know everybody gets laid at prom? So, that whole thing was great. It's just like that whole, it's its own world. Like
it's part of the ritual. You give her a corsage, you give her a flower, and then you take.
And then she takes my flower or my bud, my stema. What's that thing on a plant called? My pollinate.
Your stamen. Yeah, I think it's a stamen.
Yeah, it's whatever. I don't know. I'm not a. What do they call? Right. What do they call? I'm not a.
She strokes your stamen and takes your pollen into her flower.
Yeah. Oh, when you say it like that, it seems so filthy.
So gross.
You have to actually put a bed of mulch down first.
Oh, my God.
We actually have to do this in the grass.
Right, you have
I'm sorry.
Lay in a raised bed.
Yeah. It has to be actually like potting soil.
Miracle-Gro.
Yeah. Like this will only take a second. I'll have to walk in circles like a dog just to lay down.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure I can pat it out.
You got to like plant your feet inside the soil.
To tamp it. And then lightly, yet firmly water it to make sure it's moist. And then we can begin. Yeah, dude. Like I remember, God. I mean, prom was fun too. First time I rode on a limo.
Yeah, I went to 2.
Did you go 2?
I went to mine. I went to 1. My girlfriend's.
Oh, okay.
Younger than me.
Nice.
So my date kind of, she did the whole. I asked her, thought she liked me. Found out through the friend network that she thinks you're cute and she kind of crush on you.
God, things were so much easier. So much simpler. Did you ever do the notes that said, "Do you like me?" Check yes or no or maybe.
I've never sent one. I've received some.
I did one. I sent one. I got the answer I wanted, and then.
I had to say no and on one.
In retrospect, I
said yes on one. I said no on a second.
Yeah, but it was nice when your friends would do all the legwork.
Oh yeah,
and then you just had to smile.
Pretty much.
Yeah, because you'd be like, see if she likes me, and then run up like
as nerve wracking as it was back then, and you're developing and growing, and your voice is whatever, and we're all awkward as fuck in high school, and everyone develops on a different rate and everything. As weird as that fucking time was, it actually was so much simpler.
It's the best time
on the dating aspect. Like even in movies when they talk about it, and I guess it they do properly describe the nerves that everybody feels.
It is.
But at the end of the day, if you just look at the logistics of it all, it was actually really fucking simple.
Like if I could go back
I
in
like
time,
you like me, done.
I've said it before. If time travel was real, I would go back 2 weeks in high school and just have the best time of my life for 2 weeks. But like no repercussions for whatever I did those 2 weeks and come back to this. But like,
and then you get to college and all you do is just be drunk and then you just like,
I never did that.
And you just, stammer into it, I guess.
I can tell you the nerves you're talking about, the nerves of it. Do you know I kept those nerves probably until I was, 22 years old?
Yeah.
Like I've told that story about even on Kyle and I's first date. Like I would get myself so worked up in like fear, like just to hold a hand, I'd be so nervous that I would almost like start sweating and talk myself out of it. I had a humongous fear of rejection, like all the time. Or if I was doing it right or wrong, like dude, just
I still have that.
Oh my God.
I mean,
I can never be like I never can be
I am on dates. I'm calm.
Oh yeah, like I don't think I'm a bad time, but like obviously we got married, so it worked out fine. But like I'm not like a tomcat. I can't be like, oh cool, like no, like I just never been that guy.
Those guys don't exist.
They do in movies.
Yeah,
but not in real life. Yeah, but you're right. Like the nerves are
those guys that actually are like that don't actually like women.
Shit.
They're piles of shit.
Yeah, they just like themselves.
Right. If they could, they would just fuck themselves, and they probably do. But yeah, dude, it was such a simple time, and all those firsts was just great. And like I said, it wasn't all about just putting the P in the V.
No, I don't want to get that wrong impression. That came late. That's not even. That's great and all and exciting, but that wasn't even the peak of it. It was the build up to all. It was the whole navigating that whole thing, being an adolescent dude, and then you're competing with your friends, and then like peer pressure is such a bitch. I blame my friends. I blame my friends.
Talking about like having those nerves like go on until you're like 22.
Gosh,
peer pressure worked on me. Like
it got me
until
bad.
I was like,
it still gets
28.
me. It still gets me.
Yeah.
Like earlier, you talking about like anytime we're talking about buying stuff, I'll be like, I mean, he got one too.
Yeah, right.
Like, dude, I was a sucker for peer pressure. I was always one of those ones too that was like, I'm gonna save myself. Like I was like that. Dude, I was for a long time. And then my friends, man, I love you guys, but my friends were like, they were all up in the action. They're like, yeah, it's really awesome. They're like talking about this wild ass shit.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I want some of that ice cream too.
I still get it sometimes.
Huh?
I still get sometimes.
I do all the time. And then like,
I got the other day, a couple weeks ago. I was like, I don't want to. I'll just have a beer. I don't want to drink. Like, I don't want shots and all this kind of stuff. And eventually, they just keep like calling me a bitch or whatever until I just give in, and eventually I end up doing shots or something.
Yep.
Like I don't really like taking shots anymore. It's just not.
I took my first shot of tequila a couple months ago.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You never had tequila?
Mm-mm.
Really?
No, I've had it like in a drink mix, but I've never had a straight shot of with the lime and the salt and all that. I've never done all that.
Yeah? What'd you think?
Well, I was already drunk. I wasn't hammered. I was buzzing hard.
Where was this at?
This is at my mom's and dad's house.
Oh, okay.
We were just having drinks on. It was like a Saturday night or whatever, and Kyle's like, you want to try?
Where was my fucking phone call?
You want to try? Well, usually I call and you don't want to hang out. So, because once you're settled in your nest here, you don't like to come out. Now, if I was like, hey, we're having drinks, get your ass over here, you probably would have came. But this was a very...
if there was women around, too.
It was a very... well, my mom and wife, and you, that's fine. There was a... it was like not a planned thing. It was like, hey, I want to drink. Somebody was having one. I was like, yeah, I'll have some Crown.
Right.
But anyway, they're like, want to do a shot of tequila? And I was like, I've never done one. And of course, I'm like, yeah, it's fine, make it.
Okay.
So I was like...
So you did the...
However it goes. That was my first time because I'm a child.
You lick the salt, you take the shot, you hit the line.
And you talk about warm your soul. I've never had tequila. That is nice. Yeah. It's got a little ring to it. It's kind of comforting. It's like a little blanket.
Yeah, tequila gets you naked. That's the rule. Does
it?
The saying.
Okay.
Tequila
it's
is
warm.
A clothing remover.
Well, McConaughey's real big on it, and that's my boy. So
and he's never wearing a shirt, so it makes sense.
I wouldn't either if I looked like that.
Right.
You seen him back at his peak times?
Oh yeah. So he's never wearing a shirt or shoes. He's never wearing a shirt or shoes. Well, he drinks tequila, so it makes sense.
Shout out Matthew McConaughey. Him and I eventually are going to meet. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I can't do a whole lot of tequila. Sometimes I'll take shots. I don't do dark tequila. It's got to be clear.
This was clear.
Okay, I can't do dark anymore.
No, this was strictly...
I drank way too much Jose Cuervo one night.
Oh, nice.
Pissed the couch, and I have not been able to drink dark tequilas since.
That was probably the night of your blind date.
No, right. That was the next night. Right. That was way more fun than the date. Pissing a couch was way more fun than that date. I swear to God.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I finally did tell him. I told my buddy Gage that my hope. Remember I told you like I have a little sliver of hope.
You want to get invited into an entourage
because I call him my semi-famous friend.
Right.
But we were talking. I was up in Nashville the day we were talking. I was like, you know what my hope in all this is? He was like, what? I was like, somebody will invite me out for a weekend and like I'll meet some of my childhood friends. Like and I said, because I asked him too, like straight up, I was like, you've got a lot of followers. Like you're kind of, and I was like, do you guys really get messaged all the time? Like, he doesn't have like 1 million, but still it's a pretty substantial amount. He was like, it's a lot, dude. He's like, it's a lot of people really just like either wanting something. It's not like you would think it is. And I was like, he said, then you run into the trouble of who your friends really are and who people are just trying to get stuff from you.
Yeah.
But I told him I hope because he laughed that I message people randomly. Like it doesn't matter who you are. Like, and I was like, yeah, dude, I'm telling you, my time has come. This year is going to be my year. I have a feeling that this year is going to be my year.
That really is your thing. That's your thing where you just straight up just DM people. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, so I do. Yeah, so if I think that we would get along and I think that we vibe, I'll message you.
Right.
And it's worked out in the past. I've gotten some cool followers lately, some big ones that I thought was pretty neat. So I think this is going to be my year.
You think so?
This is going to be my year.
I think me too.
And I don't want anything. I've said it before.
Reasons.
I've said it before that I don't want anything out of people. I'm not looking for money. I'm looking for charity. I'm looking just to hang out and make some memories. That's it. Like I don't want anything. If you happen to throw me something cool, great. If not, I'll just shout you out. I don't even care if you take a fucking picture of me. It's just the experience of, I've said it before on the show, like-minded people. Like I just think it's fucking cool.
Yeah, vibes.
Yeah, man, it's all about the vibe. It's cool. Not the hotel vibe that I had in Nashville. That's not a vibe. But yeah, dude, this is gonna be my year. I'm pretty positive. This is gonna be my year.
We're gonna make you a known name, a national name with one sip. So
yeah, and then you saw my product description I did of my OGO bag, my belt.
I did see that.
Yeah, so
I like your little kick.
My little kick spin. Yeah, I mean, so stuff like that. I mean, that could be how I do my one sips. I don't mind being on camera. So
we're going to test this. We're going to field test this one sip idea.
Let's do it.
I'm going to field test this. Where you got an idea of where you want to go? Like, let's do some like local places around here first.
Okay, yeah, that'd be fine.
Maybe we can start with like Mississippi.
Well, a friend of mine does that. I've shared him on our. I don't know if I've done it on my show. I'll give him a little plug real quick. He does. I went to high school.
We do them, yeah, sure.
But make sure this audio doesn't pop up. What's his? He's gonna be upset that I forgot his name. Oh yeah, it's Terrence. He does the Lewis reviews this. They do all the food places. Him and his wife. Yeah. So shout out him. It's really cool. But it's kind of the same thing. He goes to local places, tries their foods, and then reviews them. But you do straight coffee. But he does a good show like that too.
In order to do it, because I mean, you got your own style of coffee, but we have to do the house blend or the house coffee, whatever is their like signature.
There's some locals here we can do, but Nashville's got a bunch too. Mm-hmm. Hendersonville's got some. And then anytime we go out, like if we go to Vegas again this year, we should review Vegas coffee too. That'd be fun. Yeah,
and Portnoy even gets to the point where he's like don't even go to like pizza joints, like actual pizza places known for their pizza, but he'll just like try the pizza at a fucking ballpark or something.
Yeah,
right.
That's a good idea.
Hotel or some shit.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, we could do that. During the pandemic, he did frozen pizzas, which was interesting. I thought that was cool.
Hey, now some of the best pizzas I've had have been frozen pizzas. Yeah. That DiGiorno is no joke. Remember the old Red Baron when we were kids with your Dr. Lightning?
Oh, yeah. Well, I remember he even got into like a fucking like war spat or whatever where it became like a running joke where he absolutely can't stand Jack's pizza, the frozen pizza. Apparently those are the worst to him, the absolute worst. I was like, I can't remember those. I don't know if I ever got it. It was always Red Baron or DiGiorno for me.
You know what we need to do as well on our show? Yeah. One episode here soon, we'll do like a flashback. We need to go to that, was it GFS? By the pet store that does it's like a little Sam's Club type thing. We need to go there and get smiley fries, and they have the square rectangular pizzas.
Yeah, that's the place where you're talking about. It's like the supply store for restaurants,
kind of sort of
whatever.
Yeah, we can get the rectangular pizzas there and smiley fries, and we'll do a nostalgic little lunch.
Oh, we could. You can get them shits online in bulk, like the schools buy them.
Okay.
I actually looked this up once. You can get a box of like the fucking bag milk and smiley fries and
let's do
square pizzas.
Let's do that.
You can I can
air fry the smiles. Some fresh ketchup. We can push it in, look like their face is bleeding. We can do the full thing.
Get some Dino Nuggets too.
Dino Nuggets. Fuck. Colt had Dino Nuggets that day for lunch.
I told you that was my first Instagram picture, was some Dino Nuggets and smiley fries. That was my first picture on Instagram.
Dude, some of them Dino Nuggets suck. Harper won't eat them.
Oh,
she said, she walked up, she's like, those are disgusting. Because I guess, like, my sister-in-law one time gave her some that were not a good chicken. I don't know what they were. They were like soy-based or some shit, but she was not happy about it. So she said, yeah, those are awful.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's a good idea. We could do that.
All right, cool. We're just living this flashback.
Nostalgic meal.
Yeah, we brought the Biltmore. Now I'm going back to my, 1895.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of nostalgia meals, I had something last night I haven't had in years.
What
probably.
was it?
Grilled cheese. Just a simple
classic.
Cheese.
We have that
classic
often.
Grilled cheese.
We do that with soup.
I hadn't had that forever because I don't really have a whole lot of like singles cheese. I don't really get a whole bunch.
Do you use oil?
When I made burgers.
Oil or butter on your bread? What do you do?
Butter.
I do olive oil.
I'm trying to. Olive oil is good, but I'm trying to stay away from how hard it is. But I'm trying to stay away from seed oils. And I had this question: what the fuck is a canola? Where you make oil out of it?
I don't know, dude. It's funny. I was telling somebody recently. I was like, "There's just it's all over Instagram too. Everywhere. It's just like everyone telling you to stop eating. Like you might as well just stop eating. Everything's killing you.
Yeah.
You might as well just go out in the yard and just start eating grass because everybody's just gonna leave me alone. I don't know. I'm just gonna watch what I can, but I'm not gonna put myself in a bubble. So I want to feel good, but living to be 100, I give two shits about that. I don't, if I want to eat a grilled cheese with some Federal plastic cheese, by God, because it's good, I'm gonna eat it.
Yeah, splurge. I'm all for that.
But I like to watch what I eat, but I'm not gonna go to everything I pick up and turn it around and look at all the ingredients. Some of the shit I can't pronounce.
I do that. I've always kind of done that just because I'd be curious to see what's in it.
Try to cut out a lot of the sugar. I try to cut out things
we try to in all moderation. But I think I think this is my overall point with this.
What is canola?
Is I don't even know what it is. Is it a bean? Is it a seed? Is it a wheat? What the fuck is it? What is a canola?
I'm gonna look it up.
Because there's canola oil in fucking everything, or vegetable oil, but it never tells you what vegetable. What vegetable is it?
It's a rapeseed.
It's a rapeseed.
Yeah.
Did you say rapeseed?
That's how it's spelled.
Get it.
Sorry. That's how it's spelled. Canola is a crop with plants from 3 to 5 feet that produce from which seeds are harvested and crushed to create canola oil and meal.
So it's seed oil.
Yeah, canola seeds. About 45% oil. I don't use canola oil, I don't think.
All right, so what's vegetable oil made of?
Vegetables.
Yeah, what? Thanks. Which ones?
Oh, well, this one's made of rape. That's a rape seed. It's got a lot of rape in it.
Okay. So they're raping your body.
Vegetable oil is just a derivative of just oil of vegetables.
Yeah, but which ones? Which ones are they crushing down or whatever the fuck, extracting the oil from?
Okay, so it says here that canola oil is a singular type of vegetable oil.
Okay, so So when they say
but a vegetable oil are actually a blend of a variety of different vegetable oils.
Great.
It's got a high smoke point. We already knew that.
That really narrows it down.
Look, man, I didn't know we were going to go to class. Hold on.
Olive oil makes sense. I mean, you ever looked at olive oil? It's
it's made of olives.
Right, from olives. But, and it does have, straight olive oil does have a taste to it. You can taste.
Yeah.
It's not salty like olives, but.
What's funny is now our grandparents they're passive outlived us, and they used to just use fucking lard. Well,
see, and that's right. So I think that
it doesn't really
somewhere along the way, and
mixture of oil.
It's kind of like in the news now. You see more of it. Basically, the food.
Oh, here we go. Commonly referred to as plant-based canola, corn, palm, soybean, or sunflower oils.
Okay.
So I think vegetable oils there's a family of them.
Right. Okay. Because I see stuff say soybean.
I use canola
oil
a little bit on the grill on the flat top.
Yeah.
Or I use olive oil, but
I use olive oil, but exclusively.
You can do they tell you not to do peanut oil. I don't use peanut oil for anything.
I don't. Well, yeah. That's the reason why. I think that's the reason why Chick-fil-A's chicken sandwich is so good because they make them in peanut oil.
And we did also. We try to use real butter.
Right. So that's exactly my point.
Yeah.
Is our parents? They grew up on fucking butter, lard. They didn't use vegetable oil, sure, and canola at some point.
Bacon grease in a jar.
Right, exactly. It's somewhere along the way in order to make things convenient. And we were lied to. The food pyramid was a lie. Mm-hmm. And they started making all this processed shit for convenience, and you can make it in bulk, and it's so cheap and all this kind of stuff. And it's bad for us. So my thing is about actually looking at the ingredients and paying attention to this stuff is because the FDA and all these experts that are supposed to exist for our well-being and making sure that we are, not ingesting poisons and things that are bad for our body. They're the gatekeepers, and they're supposed to be the experts for this. Failed. They became a bunch of liars, full of shit. And so now we have to take ownership over that now and pay attention. That's kind of my overall point. And so now I'm like, now that stuff coming out of the news to where it's starting to make sense, people are saying, more and more people every day are coming out and saying, listen, food pyramid's a lie. The stuff that you've been ingesting is slowly killing you and creating these diseases that will maybe not affect you now, but will affect you in older age, right? It's also the reason why we're fucking fat. So I'm just like, this starts to make sense. And after the whole COVID stuff, all the health experts basically failed. The whole system collapsed. Nobody can trust anything anymore. So now everybody's looking at other side industries with that kind of lens of what are you? They were lying to me for 3 years. What have you been lying to me about? You know what I mean? Right. And so now it's all kind of like coming out. And I think it's a good thing. I think people now are kind of taking control.
A little more conscious about it. Yeah, I think so.
So that's just kind of where I'm at.
Like we do, we try to do. I try to keep it simple. As right. We do a lot of rice. I do a lot of white rice,
which is apparently better than brown rice.
That's correct. So I like to do a meat, rice, and a vegetable. It's just simple to me.
Yes,
it's just simple. I try to keep it simple, and I'll do some raw strawberries or mangoes, whatever. And then especially with little ones, we still do a Happy Meal every now and then. We still order pizza. Yeah. We still live, but we just do chicken bowls or we do fish. You just keep it simple. We do homemade. We try to do stuff homemade by using good ingredients. Because really, people are before even I was like it too until I realized they're like, I can't afford to eat healthy. I'm like, actually, sometimes it's cheaper. And it lasts longer if you do it right. It's like you and I were talking about. You can get, what was that price on those chicken breasts? It was like $10 for what, 5 or 6 individual chicken breasts?
Yeah.
There you go. A whole week of food for $10 if you do it a day, depending on what you're doing. But but we still eat, there's still fruit snacks. We still do stuff. But I'm like you too. I'll check the label and stuff. And I also don't like a lot of sugar. So we like green tea, right? Mm-hmm. I do the bagged green tea at night with hot water. But if you do those Lipton green teas, dude, I told Kyle, I was like, quit buying those. Have you seen how much sugar? It's 76 grams.
Oh, no.
Everything. Yeah,
I can tell whenever, because I'm like you, I don't really ingest a whole lot of sugar. I've got my vices. I
do too. I love Oreos. I love,
Sour Patch Kids and shit like that.
Werther's.
Right, Werther's.
Yeah, those are called Werther's for a bit. Those are really good.
So I'll have these little kicks to where I'll go.
It kills my system, dude.
I absolutely can't not live. I have to have a stock of Reese's peanut butter cups. I just have to have
potato chips are what gets me.
Potato chips get me back. I love the whole
annihilate a bag.
I love the sensation, the crunch, salt sensation.
The whole thing.
I can't.
The whole thing.
Right. That's
I'm thinking about it right now. Actually, I wish I had some chips right now.
After this is over, I think I'm going to go get some chips. Yeah, right. Let's go together.
Let's go get some chips.
So, I used to actually just, as a kid growing up, I used to just annihilate a sleeve of crackers.
Oh, dude. You talking about a line of them?
Yeah, a whole sleeve. Line, bro. I would knock out that whole sleeve. That was my lunch.
I remember because now I'm a little more paranoid about it, but I remember in junior, senior year, we would go to the Chinese buffet 3 days a week after practice. 3 days a week. Wendy's annihilated.
That was the best hangover food.
Didn't give two shits because we were nonstop. We were running. We never stopped. But it's just, I don't know. Now if I go to the Chinese buffet, which I haven't been in years, I'll probably shit my brains out and feel like shit for 3 days.
Well, so you've been working out constantly, and you also have a very active hobbies, right? So you were able to, even though you have a desk job, you were able to maintain a
try to because I have a fear of being, I don't want to look gross. It scares me.
And see, and I've talked about this before. I had played sports in school, right? But I didn't have a hobby that was super active. Yeah. And so whenever I when I hit the freshman 15 and then again and 3 more times.
See, yours is ebbs and flows. Right. You'll go
I have to
hard to the wall and then stop and then come back. It's like the wild ass wave.
Yeah, it is. Right. It's because I did not develop a.
You don't have a concept.
You were a gym rat forever, and you had you were heavy into dirt bikes, and so outdoor activity type thing. So that takes a level of fitness. You can't just be a fat piece of shit on a dirt bike, right?
Right.
I actually am thinking about it, and you don't really see that because it does take some physical.
Oh yeah, everyone assumes that you just sit on your ass and you're putting through. I'm like, okay, well that's fine.
Come
try it.
You don't see a whole lot of guys that are into dirt bikes and that's their hobby. You don't see a whole lot of 250-pound dudes on dirt bikes.
Not really.
It's not really a thing.
Your pro guys are all like $110.
Right. Exactly.
It's crazy.
So even the casuals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you've had that. I never really had that.
Don't get me wrong. I've seen some fat asses shredding out in the woods, dude. I've seen some big boys really shred. They don't stand up ever. It's wheels on the ground the whole time, dude. It's nuts. I mean, it's wild to watch.
Yeah.
Better traction.
Yeah, that's true.
Fucking getting
more weight.
I guess, dude. I've seen some that actually shocked me. I couldn't believe it.
Interesting. But I don't know where I was going with that. But
yeah.
Talking about roller coaster. Yeah, I've had to up and down. So trying to find something that's I tried to get on the whole. You had all these goofy fad diets, but I think what you said is just simple. If you just stick with the whole food type stuff,
man,
just make rice, make chicken, make vegetables. Don't try to get all crazy and find this fancy low fat, no carb, gluten free bullshit.
I had somebody ask.
Eat natural, normal foods that I actually grew up on.
We all did.
My parents made.
We all did. I had somebody ask me a couple weeks ago about eating plant stuff, and they're like, "What do you do?" I said, "Dude, I'm not walking onto a stage. I don't have this incredible figure where it's like, oh my god, what's he eating? You just eat what makes you feel good. If these certain foods make you feel like shit, don't eat those. You are what you eat. Don't eat those."
Well, the problem is that people that are in that, they don't know that that's what's making them feel like shit.
Yeah, your gut is literally in control of everything. Yeah. It's really, it sucks.
I remember you would go through, when I was doing those Spartan races, and I was in probably, I would say the best shape of my life, but I was getting there. And eating was a big part of it, right? Obviously. I remember I was eating so clean that I ended up randomly one day, I don't know, didn't have time, and I just got a burger, a fast food, or I think maybe it was
crushed you, didn't it?
Maybe it was Taco Bell. I felt like it actually didn't taste the same.
Yeah,
it tasted awful, and I was like, I love this. I used to eat these all the time. What's the deal? And it had a different taste, and I felt like ass afterwards. So I think the people that are in that, I think people study this and they know this. When they're eating that stuff all the time, it's good. You crave it more, and you don't know that it's it doesn't feel like it's bad for you until you're off of it. You know what I mean?
God, I would crush a cheeseburger right now.
Yeah. Whenever I'd go to fast food and would have a good burger, just fucking make it at home. I guarantee you it would be so much better.
Oh, dude, you can do a pan-cooked burger. Gosh,
it's
man,
so much,
you can't beat it.
And if you make it right, it's so much cleaner.
Oh, dude.
It's so much cleaner.
I made one, 2 weeks ago we did pan cheeseburgers. Dude.
Gangster.
The best.
I made some awesome smash burgers.
Yeah.
And you make it exactly how you like it.
I did Montreal steak burgers.
It's easy. It doesn't take that much time. But conventional wisdom has told us for decades, don't eat so much red meat, Don't eat, low fat and all this but you need that stuff. Your brain needs fat to function.
Yeah.
So I think we just need to get back to our grandparents. Our grandparents had it right. That's the reason why there's boomers. They're fucking 100 years old. You know what I'm saying? How many times do you see people kicking around well into their 80s and 90s, and they still move around,
still smoking on the front porch?
But now you're looking right. But now I feel like our generation, and maybe Generation X more so, they just fucking too fat and can't last, and they're dying off early.
They don't give a shit.
You know what I'm saying? So
my problem with the eating thing is I always most men do this, which I shouldn't do it. And you may do it as bad as me. I don't know who, but we try to compare yourself to other men that are in great shape or look a certain way. You're like, oh, what are they eating? You immediately go what are they eating?
Yeah.
and I want to like ask them, what do you, then I'm like, I have to fucking stop because I have friends that look great that are like, you know, twice my size or this or taller. I'm like, fuck, I could look like that if I would just change my eating. And I'm like, I don't fucking stop. I don't want to do any of that.
No, I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that.
It's got to be something that you
it's got to just relax, man.
It's got to be something that you can sustain.
Well, that subject I'm talking about is like, I remember years ago, probably freshman in college, it got big was everyone wanted to get huge. Everybody wanted to be on this eating plan. You got to do 5 or 6 meals a day. You got to do all this stuff. And it's like, it was so like ingrained. Like you had to, I'm like, fuck, now I go back and look, I'm like, that is so exhausting. Like unless you're doing it for a purpose, if you're doing it for a goal intended, that's great.
But like the average person.
Yeah, if you just want to sustain a look, like if you're this weight, and you know that you have to eat this much to keep the weight because this is the look you want. It makes you happy. That's all for it. But if you're like eating, if I had a goal in mind, it makes more sense. But just to do it because to tell people I'm doing it, I don't have time for that shit.
Well, yeah, like I'm not gonna be one of those people. I'm like, if you want to do this, fine. I don't give a shit. But the whole counting macros,
I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that crap.
Sorry, I'm not. I know what I need to eat. And if I want to put some weight on, then I'll just increase my meals. If I want to lose some, I'll stop eating. It's not. Just keep it simple, stupid.
I think the average person, you know, you're not going to get them on board. Maybe they'll do it for a period of time, but they're not going to be able to sustain it. The average person is not going to be able to sustain this counting the macros thing and, you know, laser focused on everything that they ingest. But they're just not going to do that. So that's not sustainable. So what I think what you have to do is if you're the average person and you just want to be healthier and lose some weight, you know, not like have a 2% body fat. That's all I'm talking about. Where you're like stage ready. But I mean, just feel better, look better, be better. You know, live longer, have less health effects when you get older. You just rethink what we've been told. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Throw out the food pyramid and just think, what did we have access to 100 years ago before all this processed stuff? What did people eat 100 years ago? And just do that. Yeah,
it's pretty, exactly. Well, they mentioned that too, and then I'll go back to the Biltmore thing. We saw the kitchen. And it was just simple things. It was meat.
Just, right.
Potatoes. Simple. It was just simple stuff, man.
Like if you can make it at home, then it's probably okay to eat.
Yeah.
I would say that's probably fair.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In moderation. Everybody already knows to stay away from sugar. Like, duh. And everybody knows...
we all know what to do.
You know what to do.
It's just not fun.
You just don't.
It don't taste as good.
And then whenever you go out, splurge.
And we are now. To you listen. We are nurses. We're just not registered. So this is all. You can look it up. This is all science, people.
This is life advice from an average Joe.
This is average guys. We're just kicking it. And really, the secret to your happiness needs to be. You need to do cool shit, motorcycles and tattoos, and all that will make you feel better as a person.
I may have that tattoo. I'm not 100% because right now.
Oh yeah, back to the.
So tattoo wise, let's focus on that.
Let's focus on that. I like it.
You know, I've stated that I put it off now. I will get one.
Yeah.
I didn't put a time on it, but I did say I will get one this year.
I timed it for you.
Okay, 2023, getting it to 2. I've got one picked out.
It's a good one.
It's the leader right now, but
I like it.
I'm not 100% on it. If that makes sense. Like something else may come.
You at least found something in the wheelhouse.
Yeah, right. It is.
Just got to find the spoke.
It is nerdy.
Yeah, but is it though?
Not really. It's
a staple.
It's fucking cool.
It's important.
It is cool, and I'm not sold on the placement for that one. I think
it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one just because of the layout.
Classic shoulder, but I really like that tattoo, and I don't know if I want it to go on the shoulder. I don't know.
If you do a classic bicep,
I think it would be really cool on the forearm, but I think forearm's too soon.
It's not nowadays, dude. I just saw a guy the other day that had one on his neck and nowhere else. Yeah,
that's true.
Everyone apparently, like I said it before on the show, like it doesn't even matter anymore. Really, before it was like start where you can't see it, then you work your way out to where it's always visible. But that would be a wonderful forearm spot.
I see,
and you can still cover it.
Whenever I saw it and I pictured forearm.
It would be awesome.
Inside forearm.
That's a great spot, and it's a little tender.
It'd be like
the
your
wrist.
brother's. He's got the lightsaber in the forearm, but this is it's a sword.
But what's nice about that spot too is you can add around it. If you were to get a full, you can add to it on top, back, or bring all the way up. So yeah, that's a great spot.
But I'm going below the elbow. You know, I'm going. So it's just.
I told Crunk that to quit being a pussy and get the rest of his arm filled. He's getting that worked on, I think, this weekend or next.
I like his circuitry thing he's got going on.
Yeah, he's got some cool tattoos. He's done good on his choosing what he got. I like them. His owl with that I almost said nativity scene with the the mountain scene and the happy trees,
Christian owl,
the happy trees like mine. The Messiah owl. Yeah,
it's one of from the lost books in the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Jesus owl.
It's Jesus owl. I think it's got a monocle.
Right.
He
was it the same one that with the lollipop owl?
1, a 2, a 3. Yeah, that's him. The Tootsie Pop owl. Yeah. Oh my God. That's what it is. That's what I'm going to tell everybody now.
So he got a tattoo of the Tootsie.
Yeah, he's getting a blow
out.
pop of the next time. Yeah, that's a good spot for that, dude. I think that would be a great spot for that. It's just like I said, and what's cool, I have them at the house too. You can get fake ones and place them and wear them for a couple of days and see how you feel about it one being there.
I might do that then.
I have a bunch
because if I like to, I do it all. Placement
the time.
is my thing. Because once you place it, you can't like.
I did one. I've done them on my hands. I've done them on my. Did them on some of my bag. I actually did them. I didn't do one behind my ear when I got that done. But yeah, you can. I place them. Even if it's not the same thing, you can get an idea of size and fonts and how you're going to like it in normal day wear. Because I've worn them out. Like I had them on the outside of my hands for 3 days at work and nobody even noticed them. Mm-hmm. It's just nice to get an idea of what it could look like. I wish I had those years ago. And they're cheap. I got a bunch of them. And you can actually, you can order some that are similar to what you want and just have them send you one. Amazon's got a bunch of them.
How am I do that?
That way you can put on your shoulder, you can put one on your arm, and you could wear it for a couple of days and see what you think about that placement. Done.
Right.
And you're only out washing it off.
I might just get 3 and then just put them on each spot and be like, which spot do I like better?
You could actually, I've seen somebody actually get 3 done at once.
Because that's my thinking is shoulder, I think, is third. Yeah. I don't like that placement as much.
I don't because I can't see it.
That and then, you've seen what I'm looking to get. It's a simple design and it's not big.
Classy.
And it doesn't have a lot to, like I could fill in later, but I don't know what I want to do. And I feel like it would be kind of naked, if that makes sense. Like it's a big space. It was not enough of it to fill the shoulder to
If you're a real man, do it like Brock Lesnar, do it on your sternum.
I could just, well, yeah, chest would be cool, but I don't know. But I feel like back.
I think forearm.
Back would be good. Is number 2, but forearm. I feel like that's
the forearm
just the perfect spot.
You can always see it. You can cover it up with a dress shirt if it does happen to be in a certain situation, and it's even just like having one. It sits well by itself in a standalone position.
Right. Exactly.
Because I feel like if you get one like I've got one before on my like bicep right there, when it's by itself, it looks weird.
It looks weird. That's what I'm picturing.
And now knowing what I do, then it didn't bother me because I didn't know a lot about it. Right. But now being around it for so long, I try to.
Now, I think it's because it's a vertical. It's a vertical tattoo.
Yeah.
But now if it was more of a horizontal type thing, I could do a shoulder. But since it's going to go pretty much all the way down to the elbow. That's an odd.
I think the forearm is the best
I feel like
spot.
Shoulder is you got to either do a full like mural, like it's got to cover the whole shoulder, or it's got to be a horizontal one where it goes to the front to the back and not down as much.
Yeah,
and then it would be fine.
Yeah.
So forearm for a vertical like tattoo that's kind of thin, skinny. It's like forearm.
I think that'd be awesome. Yeah, we should do that.
I think that's if I imagine if I just trying to picture it, have the circle portion right here.
Yeah, it'd be badass. I'm seeing it right now. You don't have to tell me twice. Cool. It would be cool. Yeah, you just let me know, and we'll make the date.
I think
not a big deal.
Left or right? I don't know.
It needs to be your dominant hand. Yeah, because it's what it is. It needs to be that hand.
That's true. Yeah, so it would go on my right then.
Yeah. That's cool. Plus, you can see it while you jerk off.
Well,
the stranger.
I do the other side.
You do the other side?
Right?
Wow. Okay, lefty.
I've said this because I can't work the keyboard with my left hand. I'm a right.
Oh, right. Okay. Cool. All right.
Well, work the keyboard with my right hand, the shaft with the left.
Got it. The extractor.
Right.
That's what we call that. Cool, man. And the blocker. Oh. Some of my listeners will know what that is because I was told that years ago that was called the extractor.
The extractor. And
they called it our hand was the extractor. And I said I block it with this hand.
Yeah.
So that was a nice running blue collar joke.
Old seaman.
Did you want to get to our assignment? Talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So I just
or do you want to talk about any movies or shows you've watched recently these last couple of weeks?
I have been watching The Sopranos.
What do you think?
So I watched all of the first season. It was like 13 episodes.
Okay.
It's 99, right, is when that came out. So it was like turn of the century.
As far as is it as good as people say it is?
It's a bit dated.
Okay.
So far.
To me, that's true.
So it's
I've seen clips like fighting scenes, like where they beat the shit out of somebody.
Yeah,
and I've seen some references that people have made about The Sopranos, but I have a hard time starting 90s shows or later because they're almost too dated. I'm not saying it's bad shows; they were great at the time, but I have a hard time like connecting or like getting in it.
Well, it's a little dated. I mean, I'm not saying just the fact that it's set in 99
I know what you mean.
and then early 2000s. So like the cell phones and the cars and everything looks. But I'm saying the style of show that it is a little dated.
The dialogue, everything is way different.
Yeah, well, dialogue's good, and they do kind of it's all about mob family, and so it's not a period piece. It's set in 2000.
Yeah.
99, 2000, as if there was a mob family now operating in New Jersey. And it follows basically one guy, Tony Soprano, and he ends up having like anxiety attacks, panic attacks. That's how it starts off. And so he goes to see his therapist, which is basically a death sentence on anybody in the mob because they think you're spilling secrets and all this kind of stuff. So he has to keep it a secret. And so he's like, basically it's a mobster, modern day mobster navigating life, and has this dual life of family and his criminal organization, and also he's got this in his internal emotions and thoughts and everything comes into play. So it's very fascinating. I don't get me wrong, it's a great show. I'm enjoying it, but I feel like each episode's they're all kind of disjointed a little bit.
Okay,
you know what I mean? It's almost like it's like a hybrid between a serialized show and then a sequential show, to where each episode feels very independent. It kind of focuses on one thing.
Yeah.
And then it wraps up toward the end. And then there is a thread throughout the whole show that continues until the end of the season. But I feel like I watched the whole first season and I was like, I don't really know what the fuck that season was about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
What was the theme of this whole thing?
Yeah.
And I'm getting into season 2, and I'll give you an example of what I'm thinking. Dexter. When I watched Dexter, it's an older show too. It wasn't the same time. It didn't start at the same time as Sopranos, but it's an older show. I think it started in 2000. It was maybe 5-8 years behind The Sopranos, I think, something like that. When Dexter was kicking off, maybe 2008. When did it start?
2006.
Okay, so that's
you're close.
I'm thinking right there. But each season, it was basically the first season was Ice Truck Killer.
You're talking about a theme, more or less,
right? And it had you had individual episodes that had their own little things, but there was a general idea of the arc of the season. Right, the season had an arc to it, not just individual episodes. And then season 2, you had it was the Bay Harbor Butcher, and it had a whole arc to that. And then each season had its own arc. I feel like with Sopranos, the seasons don't have an arc. Each episode has an arc, and they just kind of compile them together.
I see.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Okay,
and so that's the reason why I feel like it's dated. Is that it's
storytelling's a little different.
The structure of the season is just not something you really see anymore. The way that writers do shows now is the season itself has an arc. Each individual episodes have sub arcs and subplots and stuff like that. It's just very weird. I don't know. See, I'm well into season 2. I think 7 episodes in. Each season has about 13 episodes, something like that. Except later seasons, I think they drop off on number. But I like it. I mean, the only other mob movies that you've ever, only other mob storytelling that you see is in movie form. Right?
That's true. Yeah.
So it's good to have it as a show, and you get really invested in some of the characters, just like most shows. It is well written. The stories are good. It is compelling. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. But that was just one thing that I noticed. I was like, it seems odd.
Yeah. So
because normally when you're watching a show, you're thinking of all the things that are happening in the earlier episodes. You're like, how's this going to play out? And you want to see the big payoff at the end of the season. The season finale is going to have all this payoff, and then they're going to leave you some cliffhangers for the next season. That just doesn't happen in this show. There's not really like a big payoff and then cliffhanger for the next season. It's just like the season finale is indistinguishable from an episode in the middle.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
It's been kind of a weird time for shows here lately because we're in that period where we're almost in spring when new stuff starts popping off. Yeah. But I went back and tried to watch some no cap. I've been trying to figure out some shows to fill in that maybe like older shows like you're doing. I was like, what's some? So I went back and I started watching Star Trek Next Gen, which is great. And of course X-Files. I got to 6 seasons of X-Files and I put it down for a little while. I just got
that's a serial show. That's like each episode is its own.
Yeah. So Next Gen, I was like, man, I said, because there's Trekkies and there's Star Wars fans. I like both. They're to me, they're totally two different shows. Totally different. Green Jacket, Blue Jacket, it's all its own thing. So who gives a shit? So, but I was watching. I'm like even what I thought was so fascinating with that is even if you're not as into sci-fi, the quasi-military style of it is so strict. It's amazing how they've played that out. Like, it's no joke. Like, it's everybody knows their job. I was watching. I'm like, this is structured so hardcore for a space vessel. Like, there's no real leisure time. It's just business.
Yep.
And I was telling somebody, I was like, they got it right. It's attractive women, space travel, and phasers.
Right.
And a solid cast.
Laser guns, and spaceships.
And it still holds up. Now, granted, there's some cheesy costumes, but it's part of the fun of it. But I was like, okay, cool. So I watched, I was almost in season 2 of it, which I saw when I was a kid. But I tried to watch, I started watching Teen Wolf, not the Michael J. Fox movie, this one that's on
the new one.
The Paramount owns it. Well, I've seen like clips for it. It's got a really great cast. I was like, let me get into some of this teen drama shit.
Some CW shit.
5 episodes in season 1, and it's cool. I like the lore of it. It's it's werewolves, it's hunters, and it gets apparently as it goes, it gets a little more in depth in the supernatural realm. But it's got a huge cast. Like it's got guys from Yellowstone in it. I didn't know any of this about this. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a try because I do like werewolves, that whole thing. So it's kind of a coming of age, 7, 8-year-old kids like touring through high school and then figuring out this whole thing. So it's done really well. It's cool. It is CW.
Yeah.
It's not as it's CW like before it gets shitty. Like how good Arrow was, and then like the other season it's like ugh.
It's because they just went too
far. So this one is 6 seasons. It's pretty good, but it's something you can put down. I'm not going to power through it like I did Lost.
Mm-hmm.
I did finish. I told everybody I finished Willow on here. That was terrible. But I did watch that new movie I told you about. I called you earlier that with Jonah Hill and Eddie Murphy.
Hell, that sounds like Teen Wolf. Like even though it's CW, you know what you're kind of getting. You're getting this kind of like young adult, high school level drama, right? And it's kind of campy in some areas, but it's still better than half the shit that Disney Plus is putting out with their shows.
Really is.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like right now I was looking here at You People. It's got a 2.7. 44 on Tomato. I can tell you right now, and I like how...
they bought like an old Air Force base in like New Jersey, Netflix did, to make a Netflix studios. They actually have a movie studio now. And if they're putting shit out like that, then they might as well just put it for sale.
This is accurate. I want Rotten Tomatoes, and you're not a huge fan, but I like their audience score. I do that.
I use it. I like to use it as a... I don't take the reviews seriously, but I like
the number statistics part of it.
It's interesting when you see like critics are really...
Critics gave it a 45 and then audience 45.
Well, then you know it's terrible.
It's terrible. And I can tell you right now, it is awful.
Right.
And it's not the casting. You had an opportunity there to really do something cool and fun.
Right.
Especially take advantage in today's climate to make fun of yourselves and like make fun of it the way that it is now. Like You've got Jonah Hill and you've got Eddie Murphy. He falls in love with a black woman, and Jonah Hill is a white, overweight, and he's good at it. He's a cool guy,
right?
And then Eddie Murphy plays her dad, and then his mom and dad is great. They're a Jewish white family, and they're both wealthy, so they're both wealthy people, like families. But I'm like, okay, that's what I thought getting into it was going to be. I was going to be hilarious that this is like a strictly black family, his wife and they're going to come in, and it's going to be that whole. The family's trying to make everybody feel comfortable and the whole elephant in the room, whatever. And no, it doesn't. It's like a rom-com and some bullshit woke movie, and they couldn't figure out what they wanted to be.
Yeah. Well, what they wanted to be is they wanted to be a sermon on wokeness.
The whole thing
and
is
they just made a movie around it, and they forgot that you have to be entertaining.
The whole thing was like, Eddie Murphy plays like this hard-ass, like, I'm the black guy, this is my black family, and like, we're oppressed and this whole thing. And then they go, and then the Jewish side, I'm like, this is just so
Oppression Olympics.
We're like 45 minutes in, and kind of we're both like, this sucks. This is an awful ass movie.
Yeah.
So I'll give it like a 3. If you want to watch it, sure, but
pass.
That's the only I've seen it here recently. But
I'll pass.
I know we had homework assignment to pick a actor or actress and then watch. How many movies did we say?
So what we were going to say is the homework, and I have to go back to the audio, but was. We were going to pick for each other. We're going to pick an actor or actress, and watch 5 of their movies. I think it was 5. Let's start simple. Let's just say 3.
Okay, sure.
So pick three. I'm just going to give you the actor or the actress.
All right. Let me make sure.
And you're independently are going to look on their filmography, and you're going to watch 3 of their movies.
All right.
And we're going to report back.
I wrote my notes down for
whatever,
next week.
and then we'll say whatever strikes your fancy. It doesn't have to be their top 3.
No.
3
whatever
that you're
want.
like, oh, okay. You know, as a kind of a way, because last episode we were talking about like Gone with the Wind and all these classic movies, and like I don't want to fucking watch that, but I was like, you know, there's a lot of actors that I like it's movies that I haven't seen that are supposed to be really good. So it's like, you know, let's maybe venture out a little bit and watch some stuff that we haven't seen before. And a way to focus that is to pick the actor, right? Instead of it just being random, just watch 3 movies you've never seen before.
Yeah.
Like, let's try to focus a little bit, make it a little interesting.
Me. Right? Who do you got? Hit me.
So my pick for you is Willem Dafoe.
Oh, good one.
He's an old actor. He's been around forever. He's got a wide variety of shit.
He's got a great set.
Right. He's very distinct. And the thing about Willem Dafoe is that his range, it's like he's not somebody like Gary Oldman where you watch stuff and you're like, I can't believe that's fucking Gary Oldman, or I can't believe that's
William Dafoe.
He kind of stays right in this little wheelhouse.
I'm going to watch 3 unknowns I've never seen, because I've seen a lot of William Dafoe films. Right. Everybody's seen Boondock Saints and New Spider-Man. Everybody's seen all his stuff. There's actually one it's been on my list and I've never watched it. Is it called Hunted or Hunter? He plays that guy that goes off to actually like hunt down some wolf or something, and he's in it.
Beast?
No.
That's Idris Elba.
I was right. It's called The Hunter.
The Hunter. Okay.
I've never seen it. I've been wanting to watch it, and he's in it.
There you go. That's
now I get a chance to watch it. Dope.
So yeah, watch 3. Report right. Back on
3 unknowns. 3 you've never seen.
3 you've never seen.
All right.
And
I'll do that. I can have that done by Tuesday.
Right. Right.
No problem. I've got for you. I've got Rick Moranis.
Oh, damn! He like quit the biz. Like,
I know, but so we've already seen like Ghostbusters 1 and 2. He's been in that. He's been in, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. But he's also in Little Shop of Horrors. But he's got some other ones too that I've never seen before. And I was like, and he's good and stuff, but he's always the nerd.
Yeah.
He's never really the lead. But he's got some. I mean, Spaceballs. He was awesome.
Yeah.
So I think that I thought about it today.
Are there even 3 movies that I haven't seen of his?
I'm pretty sure there's some you haven't. Like, let me. You know, this is mobile. I don't know why.
I'll pull up the filmography.
I don't know why I have to keep reaching for my laptop.
I have a cell phone as well. I'm connected.
I don't know. We're acting like we don't have anything. Hold on. I just thought about him today. I was like, that's a good one. There's someone here I've never even seen.
The Flintstones.
Everybody's seen that.
Honey, I Blew Up a Kid, yeah.
Look at Splitting Heirs. I bet you've never seen that, from 1993. You've never seen My Blue Heaven?
Never fucking heard of it.
Parenthood.
Here's his movies.
You've seen Spaceballs. Don't try to use that. Street.
Little Giants. I loved Little Giants when I was a kid. Strange Brew I've never seen.
Club Paradise.
I have seen Parenthood.
From 86.
Rick Moranis. I'm gonna be full on like 90s.
It is all 90s. Big Bully.
90s.
Comedy and farce film.
I need to find. It needs to be something that he's like prevalent in.
He's prevalent in all these.
Not just like a little bit part.
I would do Big Bully. Do that one.
I get a pick, bitch.
That's from 96. I'm telling you what to do. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Well, next time we'll do that, we'll have to actually like
pick some movies for each other.
Yeah.
But we can just pick one.
Yeah, dude.
We could do that next time. We maybe do the actor thing again too, but we just do like a pick one movie that the other person has to watch. And you can make it a fucking terrible movie. Maybe something that you're curious to see, but you don't want to waste your time.
Yeah. I think we should do that. Okay, cool. So I've got William Dafoe. Okay, you did good. I kind of treated you like shit. I was going to do Daniel Day-Lewis. But
I've seen he doesn't do a whole lot.
He doesn't do a whole lot. It's kind of hard. But I was trying to think like 90s, 80s, like because we're talking about Gone with the Wind, like films that I haven't we don't dabble in. But everybody's seen like his basics.
Well, see, I just picked somebody like Willem Dafoe. He's not like he's an A-lister, I guess. Everybody knows who he is.
He's William Dafoe.
But
he's awesome.
He's not always in like big stuff. He's also does indie stuff and small stuff too. And he's been around forever. Yeah. So I was like, he has a huge filmography that you could doubt.
I gave you he has like 12 movies, so at least
that are good.
At least it narrows it down for you.
Yeah.
So
that's true. I mean, there's some shit in here, but it's also like some Disney specials. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Disney Channel specials or some shit.
3 movies. That's gonna be good.
All right, cool. All right, well, I guess I like that we actually followed through with something we said.
We can do assignments when we
because we said a lot of stuff on here. Like, let's do this, let's do that, and we don't follow.
Well, the
through
one sip is important. I'm excited. I like
one sip. I think that would be fun to do.
Yeah, that's fun.
So that's going to require us to do some actual work outside of the podcast to put in there.
I might as well. I do.
You got meeting minutes.
Yeah, I might as well because I do shit I don't want to do outside. So that's fine.
That's true, and it is something that I feel like we could do. It's just
we'll do it.
Simple thing to do. Something we already enjoy doing.
How much
going places and having good coffee. Yeah, we need to wrap up here. You want to cue us up the?
As always, guys, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We're on Spotify. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. Actually, we're on everything. Anywhere you get your podcast from, we are on it. I promise you.
I still need to make a damn Twitter account.
We got to do. Zach's going to make a Twitter. He's a liar.
I know. I'm the worst.
Yeah, dude. We got some stuff coming down the pipe still. February's going to be a good month for us. I'm also still working out the decal sticker stuff. I'm working on that still. Don't worry. There's been some issues with the layering of our logo. So, I know it's been a pain in the ass trying to get some stuff figured out because the way it's done, it's just, anyways, that's outside the pod stuff. But, comment, send us a message. If you don't want to put it on our page, you can message us individually. That's fine too, privately, whatever.
Slide in my DMs.
We may be also taking this mobile here in the future as well. We might actually do some ride-alongs with us. That might be a new thing we start as well. Things to come for us. New year, new us.
Gross.
All right. Not us on each other. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, just the whole new year, new me. Gross. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Peace.